Hi guys, so in this video I am going to teach you about patterns, specifically linear patterns, because patterns can have many kinds, and the kind that we have been working with is linear patterns, and we are going to continue with that. Okay, so let's begin with this image. Okay, this image is a representation of a pattern that we can see changing from step to step, from position to position. So we begin with this drawing, um, in which we can see that we have 5 squares, yeah, arranged in a sort of cross. Here, now we have 9 squares. Okay, also you can see that here, and here, and here, you are getting one more square in each one of the directions. And here, now we don't have 9 squares, we have 13 squares. And of course, you can identify how this is changing position to position. You can see, okay, here in each tip of the cross, you add one square. So you are being adding 4 squares in this case. And here, another 4 squares more. And then you can predict what is going to be the next position and the position after that one, and so on. Okay, so let's see. Let's actually represent this information in the way of a table. Okay, so let's define position as P, and let's say that I want to represent the amount of squares with the letter S. Okay, and I am going to create a chart representing for each position how many squares we have. So remember, this is going to be position 1. So position number 1, how many squares do we have? We have 5. Position number 2, we have 9 squares. Position number 3, we have 13 squares. Yeah, and this is the information that we get so far in the problem. We don't get the information for position 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Let's actually close the table here. Okay, so now, usually in a patterns test, you are being given these, not always, but a lot of the times you get the image, and of course the chart. So what are you going to be doing next? Well, you have to complete the chart, always, right? So what is going to be the next position? The next position is going to have 17 squares. Why? Because you notice the common difference, because you know that from here to here you're adding 4, from here to here you're adding 4, so you can predict the next one, which is going to be adding 4, and so on. It's going to behave in the same way. So the next one is going to be 21 squares. After that, you are going to get 25 squares, and after that you are going to get 29 squares, and of course it can continue on infinitely, but we are going to stop here for the sake of this exercise. Okay, so what's next? Usually in a patterns exam, you are going to be asked to describe in words the pattern. So what can you say about this? Okay, you can say that the pattern starts with 5 squares, and each single position you are adding more. Or also you can be more specific and say that it's in the shape of a cross. You have a central square, and each position, starting from the first one, you have 1 square more in each one of the directions of the cross. So Next position, you add one square here, one square here, one square here, one square here, and so on. The idea is to say in words what you observe of the pattern. Okay, it can differ in any single problem, but the idea is to describe what you see and how the pattern is behaving. Okay, then, and this is really, really important, you are going to be asked to find the general rule. Okay, and most of the times it's going to be said in this way. Like, for example, find a general rule for S in terms of P. So let me write it here so we don't forget. Sorry for that S. Okay. So a general rule for S in terms of P. So what is that going to be? That is going to be an operation, well, not an operation, a mathematical expression that relates this number and this number for any given position. Okay, so for example, it's going to be S equals something. What is that something? Okay, let me show you how to find the general rule for a linear pattern, and then we are going to actually understand what this general rule is. Well, for a general rule, you are going to need two things. And one of those, we already found it, which is the common difference. Okay? That is going to be the first thing that we need. In this case, is 4. Okay? And it's positive because it is increasing. Sometimes it could be negative, and I am going to show you an example of that in a moment. Okay, sorry, I had to do something, but I'm back. Okay, so look, we are going to write P. Sometimes it could be n, sometimes it could be x. It depends on each problem and what variables they are working with. So P. And we are going to multiply it by the common difference. So 4. Please, guys, always write it this way because this is the proper mathematical or like algebraic notation, okay? 4p means 4 multiplied by p. Okay. But this is not the general rule yet, because let's check what we have here and if it corresponds with the information here. Like, for example, we know that for position 1 we should get as a result 5, but let's multiply it. If it's position 1, it will be 4 multiplied by 1, and that is 4. Did we actually get what we needed? No, because it's supposed to be 5 and we got 4. But don't worry, because if we got 4, what is missing? What else do we need? We need to add or subtract something in order to get that 5. And well, yes, we need to add 1. That's it. And this is our general rule. We already have our two things that we needed. This is, let me show you in other color. This is the common difference, and this number with its sign, it's called the complement. I'm sorry, I couldn't finish that. Okay, so since this video is already almost 10 minutes, I am going to do another one so we can split it into sections. Okay, we found the general rule. In the next video we are going to learn how to test and how to verify and understand what actually is this general rule, which is so important.